Yo, yo, what's up, everybody? What's up? Back from my work trip just in time to go over the Path of Exile 2 patch notes. So that's what we're going to do. That's what we're going to do this morning. Haven't had a chance to look at them yet. So basically, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go through this with a fine tooth comb, and we're going to look at everything here. Actually, shall we zoom in? Yeah. Not going to be great for the vertical, but there's nothing we can do about that. Nothing we can do about that. All right, let me see here. Bam. All right. We got some decent traction on there, bro. All right, guys, let's get into it. So, this is the biggest patch that Grinding Gear Games has ever done, according to them. So, this patch note list is massive. All right. Naturally, it's going to start off with the new league mechanic. So, we've got the Runes of Alder League. Start fresh in a new economy. In each area in the Runes of Alder League, you'll find a remnant which allows you to craft an item of your choosing by using the runic recipes engraved into the slots on the remnant. Depending on the rune shapes used, you will then face an encounter with tough enemies that you will need to defeat to claim your item. Each additional rune shape used to craft the item will increase the number of waves of enemies, adding additional runic modifiers to the enemies with each wave. I'm going to start with any number of slots between 2 and 10, with higher numbers being much rarer. I'm going to start with any number of slots, but allow you to craft much rarer items, okay? Monsters raised by remnants can drop Vibranium metal, a new currency. Sweet. I love when they add new currencies, man. I don't know what it is. It does not intimidate me the more they add. I just get more excited, you know. Added new NPC Pharaoh with 4 new quests in the campaign, allowing you to unlock various new crafting features. Okay. New crafting system, Verisum Rune Forging. After unlocking Verisum Rune Forging. Wait, which one is it? I found a typo in the patch notes. Does anybody know who I should tell? I can't continue reading because my eyes can't unsee this. All right, anyways, we will move on. We will move on. Okay. After unlocking Verisium Runeforging in Act 1, this allows you to add Runic Ward to your armors by spending Verisium. Armors lower than level 35, lower than level 55, gain Runic Ward with no downside. Armors above this level trade some of their regular base defense for Runic Ward. Okay. So the new defense is called Runic Ward. So you get Ward. Last Epoch does this where you gain Ward. And there's just another layer here. So this defense kicks in once you reach 1 life, allowing you to continue to survive while Runic Ward takes damage. Runic Ward regenerates independently of your life. Okay. Added 13 new alloy currency items, which can be unlocked through remnant encounters after completing Pharaoh's Quest in Act 2. These items add various new crafted modifiers to items by replacing an existing modifier, similar to perfect essences. Okay. After unlocking unique Verisium Runeforging in Act 3, you can upgrade the base type of unique weapons and armors that drop at levels lower than 55. Upgraded unique weapons will have higher damage, and upgraded armors will have upgraded unique weapons will have higher damage, and upgraded armors will have increased base defenses as well as Runic Ward, allowing them to be more competitive at higher levels. Unique armors above level 55 can still be rune forged to modify their defenses to include Runic Ward at the cost of reducing their other defenses similar to the base types. All right, so some much needed like quality of life work there, I guess, with uniques and being able to use uniques that are low level uniques. Some of the uniques never get touched. This definitely opens up some new doors to include them into builds, especially the unique weapons, so we can increase their damage. Unique Verisium Runeforging has additional properties when used on Kalguran uniques. Interesting. Added 13 ancient runes, which can be unlocked to be crafted by remnant encounters after completing Pharaoh's Quest in Act 4. These runes have powerful bonuses specific to each weapon type. Added 13 ancient runes, which can be unlocked to be crafted by remnant encounters after completing Pharaoh's Quest. These runes have powerful bonuses. So the ancient runes, I guess those are the more rare runes. And then we have mythical. Added 13 mythical early game runes that can be crafted from remnant encounters to provide significant boosts to level 15 plus characters. Added 3 fluxes, which can be crafted from remnants to transform the resistances on your items from one element to another. Added 15 meta crafting runes that can be crafted from remnants. 60, added 60 plus, so more than 60 runes that can be created by destroying a unique to make a rune that gains some of its properties. I always have extra uniques. I wish that I could. The unique stash tab, you can only put one of each type in there. I don't know how they could fix it, but like I would love to be able to put more than one of my uniques in there. You know? I can't stand not being able to put multiple of the same unique in there just in case. You know, I like collecting them. I hate trashing them. Doesn't feel right. But anyways, maybe this will allow us some way to destroy them so that we actually get some good stuff out of it. Some unique specific runes. All right, next, added 15 Runic Ward runes that can be crafted from remnants. Runic Ward runes. that can be crafted from remnants, added or modifying properties related to runic ward. Added 21 Calgurn skills that can be crafted from remnants. Animus Exchange, Animus Splinters, Bitter Dead, Conductor Runes, Detonate Living, Eternal March, Fragments of the Past, Frostflame Nova, Grim Pillars, Hollow Shell, Leyland's Power. Added 8 Calgurn supports that can be crafted from remnants. Add Patreon as a destination in desktop. Set your audience. Stream directly to Patreon. Who does that, man? I don't have a Patreon, so I guess I can't stream to Patreon. Yeah, we're not doing that, boys. We are not doing that. We're not doing that. Man. It's freaking pouring down rain at my house, bro. Pouring down rain. Yo, what's up? We got one viewer, baby. What's up, guys? What's up? Hit me up in the chat. Let me know you're a real person. Yo, 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 yo. Calgurn. All right, let's see. Where were we at? We were talking about the skills. 21 Calguran skills, 8 Calguran supports. Expedition remnants have changed into the remnants from the ruins of Alder League. New endgame story. Set out on an expedition with Pharaoh to explore the ocean as you investigate the tombs of the fallen Calgurans and challenge them to earn remarkable rewards. Seek out the crater of a fallen star. A meteor of pure vericium from which you hope to afford objects of immense power if you can defeat what awaits you there. There's now a hub area, the ruins of King's March, for the ruins of Alder to the southeast of your starting location in the Atlas. The logbook mechanic has been changed into an ocean exploring mechanic. Using logbooks now unveils a section of the ocean with a variety of islands to explore. Many new underground areas have been added that can be uncovered during the expeditions. Underground areas? What did they mean by that? Did they cover that in the reveal? Many new islands have been added with new grand expeditions. Okay. Grand expeditions, previously known as logbooks. Many new islands are Medved, Verana, and Uhtred join Olroth as the 4 faction leaders available to fight on new islands as you discover that you can discover in the ocean. Defeating Olroth would give you a key that you can use access to the new pinnacle boss for the runes of Alder. The new Runes of Alder Challenge League includes the first set of challenges in Path of Exile 2. Earn pieces of the Knight of the Alder armor set when you complete 2, 4, 6, and 8 challenges in the Runes of Alder. These challenges rewards are only obtainable in this league. So listen, if you guys want the Runes of Alder armor set, you have to finish your challenges this league. 2, 4, 6, and 8 challenges. Very simple. We're going to knock that out. We are definitely going to knock that out. From the first challenge onwards, and for every challenge after that, you'll receive pieces of the Runes of Alder totem decoration to display in your hideout. The totem pole permanently showcases how many Runes of Alder challenges you completed, so we got to do all of them. All of your old characters from the early access launch are still present, but a free passive tree refund has been granted due to the changes. We would highly encourage you to join the new leagues to take full advantage of what we've made in 0.05 update, or 0.50.0 update. With 0.5.0, there are standard, hardcore, and SSF variations to the Runes of Alder challenge. Same core mechanics. Okay, hardcore variations are parented to the standard Rune of Alder equivalent. Okay. The Atlas now has fixed points of interest at specific locations, giving you distinct objectives that are easy to find. All league mechanics on the Atlas now have quests that introduce you to the mechanic and guide you through its various stages setups to the pinnacle boss. All pinnacle bosses now have quest versions that can be accessed deterministically, alongside repeatable non-quest versions that offer a greater challenge. Added 30 new endgame map areas. Yeah, that's crazy, bro. That's impressive. 30. New endgame storyline. The Cataclysm of the Beast has invoked an ancient protocol designed to scour for and purge corruption should it ever take hold to this degree. Traverse the Atlas and enter the fortress and activate the gates. Obtain the keys to reach ancient precursor weapons and disarm them. On completion of your first tower, a fortress will rise from the earth. Maps inside the fortress grant one more passive points for the Atlas passive tree. This entirely replaces the previous method of gaining Atlas points. The Atlas tree has been significantly expanded with over 300 nodes. Whoa, man, 300. Sheesh. After completing all the maps in the fortress, you will gain enough passive points to fully allocate the Atlas tree. As the entire Atlas tree can be fully allocated, there's no need to allow respecialization for it anymore. Multi-choice nodes on the tree can be changed between options at any time. Many maps in the fortress have ancient modifiers that add or modify the contents of the maps. Any maps with modifiers that add secondary content to a map also implicitly add the content to the map as well. Added 40 plus ancient modifiers that will have a chance to appear on any map outside the fortress. Added 3 gateway maps with 2 new bosses that can be used to access different sections of the fortress. Okay. New precursor tower maps have been added outside the fortress. The Burning Monolith, along with Arbiter of Ash, have been moved into the fortress. Quest versions of Crisis Fragments have been added to 2 Enigma chambers inside the fortress. Added 2 new Citadel maps with 2 new bosses that drop keys to the new Pinnacle boss. Added Arbiter of Divinity Pinnacle boss. And maps in the fortress can be alternatively completed by killing Arbiter of Divinity 5 times to complete different sections of the fortress automatically in order to gain Atlas tree points. Sweet. Alongside the Atlas tree, a new system called Masters of the Atlas introduces ascendancy style progression for the end game. Players can align with different masters such as Jado of the Order of Jin or monsters or the Monster Hunter Hilda, each offering unique asymmetric bonuses that can be swapped between maps at will, enabling build defining bonuses. Each master has 12 nodes, of which 4 can be selected at the same time. You can never change your selection at any time. Oh, you can change your selection. You can change your selection. All right. All 3 masters can be allocated at the same time with a quick select button to change between masters before you run a map. Okay, I like that. Wait, there's 3? For some reason, I thought there was 4. There's 3. New Atlas Master, Doriani's Science questline is unlocked by clearing a corruption nexus. Hilda's questline unlocked by visiting Hilda's campsite slightly southwest of your starting location on the Atlas. And then Jado's Spycraft questline is unlocked by completing an anomaly map near the starting location. Delirium new storyline. An ancient trickster god has been unleashed, spreading madness across Rail class. Do you dare uncover his origins and confront your darkest fears? So they gave us a link for more details? Oh. This was all in the... I think this was all in the reveal, right? I don't know why they brought me back here. Consuming strange fruit draws a pall of fog across the Atlas. So we got improved rewards for it. For Delirium. There's 2 additional skill slots. Whoa, that looks crazy. Distilled emotions are powerful Delirium rewards that, in Return of the Ancients, can be used in 2 ways. Instill notable passive buffs onto amulets and craft specific mods onto jewels. Each emotion can provide modifiers such as critical strike, movement speed, and many more valuable stats. All right, face the madness. After conquering the simulacrum, you will have the right to stand before Tangmazu. So are these his uniques, I'm assuming? We get the Raven's Flock. You get a new skill, Spiraling Conspiracy. Intelligence, big boost to minion damage. And then looks like you have the grueling madness effect. 34% increased spirit reservation. And we get the gloves. These gloves look pretty good, man. Those look like they'd be good on a monk. You get increased evasion, attack speed, dex, chaos damage. So for Chayula, gain 1 fear incarnate when you call a target. All right, let's go back. I forgot where I was. I always just clicked on this link. All right. So now hub area. The Withered Willow for Delirium to the southwest of your starting location on the Atlas. The maps around this location also all contain Deliriums. And will give you points for the Delirium Atlas passive tree. The Delirium Atlas passive tree has been completely revamped with many new nodes. And existing nodes changed. Okay. After breaking Delirium Mirror, there is now a progress bar showing how deep you are in the fog and how long you have until the fog clears. Okay. Yeah, I like having the bar, the progress bar, whether that's like, how much time we got left, or, if I'm killing enemies and I'm filling that bar, so I got more time. I like having that feedback. There are now a set of Delirium encounters that can be seen on the Delirium bar. Reaching certain depths will cause colored mirror shards to appear. Map bosses in Delirium will always be 100% delirious. The damage and life bonus given by monsters to Delirium has been reduced. All right, liquid emotions can now be, let's go back. Added 5 new elite Delirium monsters. So we got 5 new elites to the Delirium. That's pretty good. Added a new sub area. Loathsome Mire. Loathsome Mire drops 2 new amulet base types that grant 2 instilled notables at the cost of either 1 suffix or 1 prefix. Liquid emotions can now be used to craft additional mods on jewels. These work similarly to greater essences, each having a set of specific mods that will replace a random existing mod on the item. Completing Delirium Mirrors now has a chance to spawn Grand Mirrors on the Atlas on a nearby map. The Grand Mirrors create a duplicate of the map boss in the effective map. Killing both map bosses will unlock a new Atlas mechanic, the Trial of Madness. After triggering the Trial of Madness, fog will spread from a map of your choosing on the atlas, including a locked simulacrum. While inside the fog, the entire map is delirious, starting at 10%. Killing rare monsters and the map boss increases deliriousness of all maps in the fog. On reaching 100%, the simulacrum will become available. Deliriousness can continue to be increased up to 200% delirious. Rare and unique monsters and delirious maps have a set of new delirious modifiers, giving them strange new abilities. Rare and unique monsters and delirious maps have a set of new delirious modifiers, giving them strange new abilities. We said that. Map bosses of delirious maps can additionally drop a new set of 3 potent emotions that can be used to craft new powerful modifiers on jewels that are not available in normal jewel mod pool. These emotions can be used to instill a set of 16 new passive tree notables that are not normally available on the passive tree. Hold up, what? Map bosses and delirious maps can additionally drop a new set of 3 potent emotions that can be used to craft new powerful modifiers on jewels that are not available in the normal jewel mod pool. Okay, got that. These emotions can also be used to instill a set of 16 new passive tree notables that are not normally available on the passive tree. What does that mean? We have 16 new passive trees? Passive tree notables? Simulacrum has been updated and is now a 7-wave encounter. Completing Simulacrum will now give you a key to face the new Delirium Pinnacle boss. There's a new set of 10 ancient emotions that can drop if unlocked by the Atlas tree, which can be used to craft time lost jewels. There are 3 ancient potent emotions that can be used to craft new powerful modifiers on time lost jewels that are not normally available in the mod pool. Some non-amulet delirium uniques now drop with the Raven Touched modifier, allowing them to be instilled. Wow, bro, this game just got a whole lot more depth, especially on the end game here. Let's cover that second to last one again. There is a set of 10 new ancient emotions that can drop if unlocked by the Atlas tree, that can be used to craft timeless jewels. There are also 3 potent emotions that can be used to craft new powerful modifiers on timeless jewels that are not normally available in the mod pool. Amazing. Amazing. New Breach storyline. Travel to the Monastery of the Keepers, the hallowed halls of the Keeper's Flame, and discover the Genesis tree stolen from the enemy and gifted the Keeper's Flame by the Dreamer himself. For more information, yeah, we'll go. All right. Waking the Dreamer. The Hiveborn are grotesque creatures from a strange realm, seeking to break free and overrun another. Aelith and the Keepers of the Flame have held them at bay, but their strength wanes as the Hiveborn multiply, forcing Aelith to call upon exiles to take up the fight. And this is where we thought we were getting swords. We'll get them eventually. Annihilate breaches. Encountering a breach will now display an indicator, extending the counter time as enemies within the area are slain. So that's all right. We got the thing here at the bottom. Genesis tree crafting. The Genesis tree, a vital asset in the war effort, stolen from the enemy and gifted to the keepers by the Dreamer himself. Fertilize the tree with hive blood, harvested from slave slain hive-born abominations to unlock its vast crafting potential. Based on what grows upon its branches, to access new jewelry base types with powerful modifiers are unavailable anywhere else. All right. Wow. Okay, so we basically like have these like seeds or something. They call them womb gifts. And what did they evolve eventually? Got a topaz ring here. Plus 47 to evasion. Vitalic ring. Spell damage mana. Mnemonic ring. And we have idols too. Idols and runes for we could put them in our jewelry. Now this amulet here, this item gains bonuses from socketed items as though it was a helmet. Rarity, mana, fizz damage. And we have this idol, and obviously it's going to be the helmet one, so 8% increased area of effect. This item gains bonuses from socketed items as though it was gloves. Gloves, 20% increase in weathered magnitude. All right, last one here. Ignite the Highborn. Fighting the Highborn will eventually unveil a path into their domain. Beyond the veil, the true scale of the incursion is revealed. Sprawling, living hives, and vast sky hives. Purge these twisted structures and defeat the breachlords to collapse their foothold once and for all. I love how they're basically running the monk in like everything. All right, let's keep going in the patch notes. We covered some of this stuff. There's a new hub area, Monsters of the Keepers, south of your starting location. Okay, so when you start in the end game, there's breach encounters near your start point. Completing them gives you points for your Breach Atlas tree. Good. The Breach Atlas passive has been completely revamped. Good. Starting at a breach now shows a progress bar. Yep, we saw that. Reaching 100% on this bar will begin a new mechanic, a stabilized breach. A stabilized breach will spawn new challenges at its starting point. Added new boss to stabilized breach. Varun, Marshal of Zisht. Added new crafting system, the Genesis tree. So they're counting that as a crafting system, I guess, where you put those womb gifts in there. I think that's their new crafting system for Breach. The Genesis tree allows consuming womb gifts and hive blood to create rings, amulets, belts, and currency. Nodes on the Genesis tree can be allocated to affect what items can be, or what items will be crafted. New nodes are unlocked by using womb gifts. So you have to use them to unlock new nodes. Got it. Added 6 new ring base types, 4 new amulet base types, 4 new belt base types, and a new set of caster and minion mods. It looks like these can all only be crafted from the Genesis tree, exclusively from the Genesis tree. Catalysts can no longer drop monsters. These are now solely obtained from the Genesis tree. Okay. Added a new set of 12 catalysts that can add quality modifiers to jewels. Killing monsters in a breach now drops hive blood and womb gifts and breachstone splinters. Breachstone splinters turn into a special womb gift when fully stacked. Okay. New breach domains now spawn on the Atlas. Using a breachstone will reveal the maps inside the domain, allowing you to enter them. Allowing you to enter them. Maps inside the breach domain contain new encounters. Breach hives, sky hives, and sky fortress. Breach hives have a series of walls that can be burned by walking through them. Each wall destroyed will increase the number of monsters in the encounter, which can be started in the center. Sky hives are a new area in which breach lords have constructed fortresses that you will need to assail. Sky hives contain a challenging multi-wave encounter in which you will need to defend. Aelith, while she closes the domain, Aelith will gain a series of abilities that can be triggered during the encounter with various effects. Fortresses are a new area with a new pair of bosses, Toll and Esh. Defeating Toll and Esh will give you a key to access the existing Breach Pinnacle boss. All right. And then we have Ritual. New storyline. Aoif lingers as a restless spirit bound to Wildwood, searching for one who might answer her call. The King of the Mist has claimed her flesh, leaving her soul adrift, untethered and unable to pass. She believes that only by reclaiming what was taken can she be made whole once more. Let's check that out. The Right of the Nameless. Aoif. How do we say this name? Aoif? Oif? Lingers as a restless spirit bound to the wildwood and searching for one who might answer her call. The King of the Mist has claimed her flesh. Head into the wildwood and complete rituals that resurrect bound monsters. Earning a tribute can now be spent on uniques or omens, making these encounters more rewarding. Yeah, we definitely needed that. This is a good change. Use any remaining tribute to fill the meter. And gain an audience with the King in the Mists. Challenge the darkness. With the Right of the Nameless brought to its end, etch your name into the effigy and step into the prison where the darkness itself waits. Yeah, we saw that in the reveal. Twisted Wand, increased spell damage, increased cast speed. Magnitudes of curses you inflict are 0. Curses you inflict ignore the curse limit. Spell hits gain 25% as extra chaos and physical damage per curse on the target. That sounds pretty good. We got a short bow here. Grants you as Marianne swarms. Fire, cold, and lightning. Big flat damage boosts right there. Attack speed. Elemental damage from hits. Contribute to flammability, ignite, and chill magnitudes. Freeze buildup and shock chance. All right. So where were we here? New hub area, Karatarth. To the west, you have ritual encounters all around the start there. Completing them gives you points for the Atlas tree. Atlas tree has been completely revamped with new nodes. After completing ritual altar encounter in a map, Locust will point the way to the next altar. All items in endgame ritual screen are now either uniques or omens. Any tribute not spent on rewards now be sacrificed to gain an audience with the king. Killing the king in the mist now drops a new key, the head of the king. This key can be used in Karatarth to begin the Rite of the Nameless. The Rite of the Nameless is a new Atlas mechanic in which you choose a series of 5 maps to complete in a single continuous ritual. Their monsters from each ritual, including the map boss, will reappear in each map in the sequence, making for a very challenging encounter. The unique bosses from each map will only appear in the final ritual of each map. Wow. Okay. In a single continuous ritual? That sounds legit. No more leaving your maps. Do you have to leave the map, I wonder? You choose a series of 5 maps. All right. While choosing map rewards for the Rite of the Nameless, each map after the first will contain extra modifiers which will affect the difficulty and rewards during the rite. Each map in the Rite of the Nameless awards 1 element of the key used to access the ritual pinnacle boss. Added new boss, Queen in the Mist. The Queen in the Mist. Available after allocating specific node on the Atlas tree. This boss can drop 3 new corrupted idols. And lastly, Freythorn rituals now prevented from ever showing deferred items. To ensure items are not lost if returning to this area on a higher level character. All right. All right. Now we have Fate of the Vow. Go through this one and then I'll have to use the restroom and I'll be right back. All right. Fate of the Vow. Moving to core. Fate of the Vow has been added to the core game. You first encounter a series of 6 ancient beacons in Act 3. Yep. Energize them to obtain energized crystals and open a portal to the Vow ruins. You'll encounter a set of 6 ancient beacons in the interludes. There's now a passive Atlas passive tree for the Fate of the Vow League mechanic. An Atlas passive tree? For the Fate of the Vow? Bro. Aziri's Temple can now be found on the Atlas to the northeast. The starting location in the city of Laravel. Maps inside the city of Laravel always have energized crystals and grant points for Fate of the Vow passive Atlas tree. Okay. There are also new temple precursor tablets that will guarantee Vow beacons in your maps if you want to focus on this league. There's no longer possible to prevent a room from being deleted in the temple. Rooms that must be deleted but have other connections will be turned into simple path rooms. This prevents the snake strategy. Yeah. The number of rooms in the temple when first starting has increased to allow getting to Atziri more quickly. Okay. Rooms can now be upgraded to tier 4 after unlocking this ability in a temple passive temple Atlas tree. Okay. Encourages more interesting temple layouts. Reward rooms granted from the console after defeating the architect have been significantly improved with more varieties. Restricted rooms in that series temple are accessible, always destabilized upon exiting the temple. Atziri temple medallions now have their drop rate scaled with the number of paths in the temple, in addition to other rooms. Room-based medallions can no longer be used inside of an active temple. Room-based medallions now display upgrade information when hovered. Medallions now output descriptive error messages when they cannot be placed. Okay. That's good, man. Sometimes you need that. You wonder why. Maybe it's a bug, but no, they're going to tell you when it's wrong. The default max number of energized crystals you can store has been increased to 60. The monster level of the temple now factors into the level of areas where crystals used to open it were obtained. The corruption chamber temple bonuses have been updated to add monster modifier chance instead of additional monster modifiers. Portals created in the temple of Adziri now create a corresponding portal in the parent Val ruins for ease of access. Sweet. Val beacons now show a grayed out icon on the minimap when completed. Great. That's great. Need that. There are now 4 types of infusers. Existing Val infusers are now Val Armor's infusers, which can be applied to armor. Val Blacksmith's infusers can be applied to martial weapons, while Val Arcanist's infusers can be applied to wands, staves, and scepters. Val Catalyzing infusers can now be applied to jewelry. All infusers can only be used on items at or above 20% quality. What? Okay. Fate of the Val currency items now have a max stack size of 5,000 when stored in the wildcard slots in the currency stash tab. Some of the possible outcomes from applying to Val cultivation orbs to unique items have been updated. Adziri's rule unique staff can now roll 10 to 20 increased life cost efficiency. So what was that? A nerf? Adziri's Splendor unique body armor can now roll 66 to 100 max energy shield. Previously 100 to 200. Nerf. The Covenant unique body armor can now roll 10 to 25% increased cost efficiency. Life cost efficiency. Nerf. The Hatforged unique gloves can now roll 16 to 30 max rage if you've gained a slot that requires glory in the past 20 seconds. Previously 8 to 12 max rage per skill. Just 6 seconds. That looks like a nerf. The Wrath Pit Globe unique focus can now roll 8 to 15% increased life cost efficiency, previously 12 to 20. The Shackles of Wretched unique gloves can no longer roll elemental ailments other than freeze. And the Vertex unique helmet can no longer roll plus 2 to 4 level of all skill gems. Instead, now being able to roll 3 to 5 to level of all curse skill gems. Basically, all of the Fate of the Val uniques got nerfed. That's what I'm getting from that. All of the Fate of the Val specific uniques from Adziri and stuff like that are nerfed. All right, let's move on. Abyss. Probably my favorite mechanic. My favorite color is green. Sorry, let's see. What do they got to say? Abyss. There are now large abyss cracks on the Atlas. Completing Atlas abysses will close them and always give you an abyssal depth with a boss fight. The Abyss Atlas tree has been revamped with many new nodes and changes to existing nodes. Coolmax Invitation is now always an allocated to the map owner. Abyss Omens no longer drop in areas below level 65. Okay, that's good. Modifiers to the number of chests now found apply to the chest found in the Abyss. These also apply to the chance to find an abyssal depth. So the chance to find an abyssal depth does not decrease with more chests in the area. Adjusted the damage of Meteoric Demise Abyss monster modifier. And Lithomantic runes from Lithomantic Runes Abyss monster modifier are now active after a longer delay. Sounds like a little bit of a nerf there. All right, expedition. The one thing that I like never do. So maybe I should run it more, but it just doesn't really interest me. Expedition League has been temporarily disabled on standard leagues due to integration with the Runes of Alder. This will be reintegrated into standard after Runes of Alder is over. Okay. Recombinator has been disabled. The Forgotten by Time Expedition Precursor Time disabled. Expedition explosives now wait to explode. Have been killed. You can now use currency from stats to purchase items from the expedition vendors. Sweet. Other in-game changes. Wow. Yeah, we got a lot. We got a lot. Ladies and gents. All right. I'm going to try to translate this. All right, in-game changes. With the introduction of new in-game storyline, the Atlas has been reset. Your existing tablets and waystones will continue to work, so you can continue progression as normal. But in order to gain points for the Atlas, you will need to do the Origins of Divinity storyline. Added support for searching to the in-game Atlas map. Great. So we have a search bar. You can now zoom out slightly further on the Atlas screen. There are now two versions of each pinnacle boss. The quest version and the infinite farm version, such as primary, secondary, tertiary calamity fragments, can no longer be obtained. Tablets from the same type may now be used together. All right. All right. So tablets of the same type. Tablets. You can now use orbs of chance on tablets. Okay, that's pretty good. Waystones may be identified. Some items and content now require you to specialize them through the Atlas passive tree, including exceptional items, fracturing orbs, basic, and overseer precursor tablets. Tablets can no longer be used on maps that cannot have extra content, such as unique maps. Okay. League specific tablets no longer drop from non map areas, such as Simulacrum, Abyssal Depths, or Twisted Domain. Lowered the base chances for essences as Mary Spirits, Shrines, Strongboxes, Summoning Circles, and Rogue Exiles appearing in maps somewhat due to the much larger entries now available on the Atlas tree. Okay. Atlas passive trees that reference maps with powerful map bosses now work with the Overseer Precursor tablets and other sorts of powerful map bosses. Adjusted the values of general precursor tablet modifiers to be similar with the same type of bonuses granted by the Waystone modifiers. Also reduce the roll variance to these modifiers. The following mods can no longer roll on Waystones. Long list of them there. Waystones have received new 2D art. Possibly the biggest change in all of patch 0.5. All right, guys, we're going to take a quick break and we'll be back. Actually, we'll take a quick break and we'll be right back, guys. We'll continue with these patch notes. All right, back to it. A lot of patch notes, man. A lot of patch notes. And it's a lot, right? We got to read it all. It's necessary. Got to know what's going on. And probably won't remember most of it. But every little bit matters here. So, all right, campaign replayability. We saw that in the release. To improve how long it takes for experienced players to replay through the game in each new league, we've added elements to multiple campaign areas to tell you where to go if you know what to look for. You can see some examples in this video. Some areas throughout the game have been shortened. Removed the second Dreadnought area. Area order in Act 3 has been somewhat rearranged in order to make progression smoother. The waterway levers have been turned into pressure pads that you simply need to walk over. And the final part of the level has the water pre-drained. Thank you. Thank you. Monster density in the second half of the campaign has been reduced, especially in the interludes, to allow getting through these areas more quickly. Okay, player changes. Bleed damage on players no longer increased while the player is moving. This change does not affect bleeds players apply to monsters. Your max runic ward is now added to your starting honor when beginning a trial of Secamus. The defenses keyword is no longer in use. Okay, existing uses of the word defense is now explicitly refers to armor evasion and energy shield to make it more clear that these modifiers do not apply to runic ward. Okay, make it more clear that these modifiers do not apply to runic ward, resistances, block, or any other form of protection. This is purely a description change. Good, man. We needed that. Because when I think defenses, I think everything, but it's only armor evasion, energy shield. All right. Only a single leech instance per resource. Life mana or energy shield can apply at one time. When multiple leech instances are active, only the one with the highest recovery rate will recover you until it expires. After that, which is the next highest recovery rate, will instance will apply. The formula for chance to deflect has been adjusted to provide better scaling with investment into deflection rating, with a cap of 95% chance to deflect, similar to chance to evade being kept at 95. The new chance to deflect is where A equals attacker accuracy rating and D equals defender deflection rating. This makes for a linear path and gets rewarded at higher investments. Why would they add that in there? Just mogging us, bro, in the patch notes. Parry, shield block, and resonating shield no longer delay heavy stun buildup from decaying longer than expected. Melee attacks can now only apply splash damage once per damaging area. Some attacks create multiple damaging areas during use. For example, Whirling Assault creates multiple damaging areas around as you move. When minions are removed, due to resources changing, such as weapon swapping, younger, newer minions are now prioritized. for the removal over older minions to avoid wasting minion cooldown abilities unnecessarily. Minions affected by last gap support, Revenge, minion support, and Heartwood no longer die during effect and taking further damage, exceeding their max life. Stats worded as when you collect a remnant, no longer give you the benefits of these stats when an ally shares the effects of a remnant with you. Okay. Updated the name of the buff that Trinity grants to Affinity. As Resonance is the name of the Keystone passive skill, this purely a description update. Archon buffs are no longer inherently lost when you attack. This is now a property of Element Archon specifically. New content. All right. Introduce new Martial Artist Ascendancy class for the Monk. And introduce new Spirit Walker Ascendancy for the Monk. We saw those in the release, in the reveal. And we have a nutty amount of lineage supports and uniques. I mean, holy crap, guys. Look at these uniques. They cooked, bro. Added 8 new idols that come exclusively from monsters possessed by Asmarian spirits. Okay. I like that change. Let me go for Asmarian spirits more, man. That'll definitely motivate me to want to take them out more. Added the new Minion Splash and Minion Splash 2 strength support champs. These support skills which create minions which strike, causing those minion strikes to have melee splash. The Fragment Stash tab now available. Added support for build guides. Okay, that was a major one. It's one bullet in here, but that was a major one. Added the ability to quickly search the trade market for an item you have. Shift Alt click on an item will populate the filters for searching the trade market so you can see current prices for rare items. You can enable and disable each modifier easily. Massive change right there. All right, and then we have in party play. You can now quickly revive any fallen party members after defeating the boss. You can now skip dialogue sequences with NPCs by pressing escape. Added a reforging bench to the entrance of the Trial of Secamus. Really? Continued to incrementally improve sound, art, effects, and environments. All right. Ascendancy changes. Acolyte of Chayula into the breach skill granted by Walking Dream. Notable passive. Now grant leech 20% of your max life. Previously 15. And leech 20% of your max mana. Previously 15. Okay. Blood Mage. The Vitality Siphon. Notable passive. Now grants 20% of spell damage. Previously 10. Chronomancer. I think this is better described in the video that they put out, so I'm not going to read that. Gemling Legionnaire, Crystalline Potential, notable passive skill removed. Added new passive skill, Essence of Virtue. Okay, and stand by. All right. Sorry, guys, for the long break. We're back. We got a decent chunk here, decent chunk of time here where we can continue. So I think we left off at the Gemling Legionnaire. The crystalline potential notable passive skill has been removed. Added a new notable passive skill, Essence of Virtue. This grants a virtuous barrier skill, which while active, conjures a glittering barrier that accumulates protective gemstone motes of each attribute type, but loses a random mote when you're hit. Huh. The advanced thaumaturgy, notable passive, no longer grants thaumaturgical dynamism skill, and instead now grants gem quality, grants socketed skills an additional effect. All gems in the game now have an additional quality stat that can be seen while holding Alt on the gem after picking this notable. Pathfinder, overwhelming toxicity noble. Passive skill now grants 50% less poison duration. Previously 35. The running assault notable passive skill now grants 30% less movement speed penalty from using skills while moving. Previously 50. Obsessive rituals now grant 50% less armor and evasion rating. Previously was 35% less. Passive tree changes. 19 new companion themed passive skills to the passive tree. 9 new life recoup speed passive skills to the passive tree. Added new Archon of Underneath cluster to the Witch Sorceress area of the passive tree. Archon of Undeath. The Ancestral Bond Keystone passive now causes placing totems that have no cost and not require consuming charges to place. Skill causes totem reserve 75 spirit each, now doubles the totem limit instead of removing it completely. The Trusted Kinship Keystone passive skill now grants 30% more reservation efficiency of companion skills and 20% less reservation efficiency of non-companion skills. It no longer provides you have 30% less defenses or companions have +1 to each defense for every 2 defense that you have. The Vow Pact Keystone passive skill now grants 50% more life leeched and 67% less life leech speed. Cannot recover life from other than life leech. Okay. The Reformed Barrier Cluster has been removed. So, the Warding Fetish Cluster has moved locations and no longer connects to a jewel socket. The Storm Charged and Breaking Point Cluster no longer connects to a jewel socket. The Adamant Recovery notable passive has been replaced by Fortified Aegis, which grants 100% increased armor, evasion, and energy shield from equipped shield. The Bastion of Force notable passive skill now grants 10% faster start of energy shield recharge. Lots of changes here. Dang. The Casting Cascade notable passive skill now grants 6% increased cast speed for each different spell you've cast in the last 8 seconds. Previously 4. Chakra of Breathing notable passive skill now grants 20% faster of energy shield recharge instead of 1% increased recharge per 4 dexterity. That's a good change, man. I hate doing the per dexterity stuff. Just make it a flat increase. I love that. Critical Overload now provides 15% increased critical spell damage. Previously 15 increased spell damage if you dealt a critical hit recently. So that's good. This because it doesn't matter, you know. Because if you do a crit, you're gonna do the increased spell damage, right? Increased crit, no matter what. Lifelong Friend, Nurturing Guardian, Mystic Stance, notable passive. Patient Barrier, Shatter Palm, notable. Now provides 20% increased crit damage bonus. Previously 10% chance to daze. Okay. I gotta sneeze. Excuse me. Sorry about that. Sorry about that. Shimmering Notable now grants 10% faster energy shield recharge and 20% increased evasion if you've been hit recently. It no longer grants 20% increased energy shield recovery rate if you haven't been. The Staggering Palm Notable passive skill now provides 25% increased fizz damage, previously 20. Now provides 10% chance to daze instead of 20% increased crit damage bonus. Good. Both like great changes, you know. The Tempered Mind Notable passive skill now provides 15% increased effect of fully broken armor. Previously, 20% increased crit damage bonus. All right. So all right. So let's see where. I sort of thought maybe like crit had gotten nerfed a little bit just due to the amount of updates to like crit damage bonus going to something else, but I think it still seems balanced. No major changes. The Wide Barrier Notable passive skill now grants 30% increased block chance and 20% reduced armor. The Wyvern's Breath Notable passive skill is updated. All right. Let's look at the skills here. Skill changes. Skills with a fixed number of projectiles, such as Glacial Lance, can now benefit from effects that cause projectile count modifiers to apply to something else instead, such as Ricochet 3 support. Skills which have a cost of 0 mana now display the cost. This allows player to distinguish between skills like default attacks, which do not have a cost at all, and thus are unaffected, for those of which who do have a base cost, but with a 0 base value, which are affected by cost modifiers. Crossbow ammunition skills now have a base cost of 0, rather than having their cost completely disabled, meaning that effects that add additional cost will now apply to them. Okay. Ignites inflicted on the target by oil ground that has been ignited can no longer compound, and cannot be compounded with other ignites from the same skill use. All command skills now have a 50% movement speed penalty during skill use. I don't know if that's enough for the Jin Sork Ascendancy. Aligned Fate, granted by the Oracle's Fateful Vision. Notable passive. Now has modifiers, cooldown, recovery rate, supply visage. Ancestral Warrior Totem. No longer has a hidden 0.6 second delay between skill use. I said delay is now 50% of the skill's attack time and is described accordingly on the skill. Okay. No longer has sustained tag on Bone Storm. Bone Shower quality now grants attack speed 0 to 20 instead of 0 to 30. Comet now deals 212 to 318 damage at gem level 11. Comet got nerfed. Hmm. Gathering Storm. Ghost Dance. I think Ghost Dance. The interval between gaining ghost rounds is no longer a duration. It now has modifiers to cooldown recovery rate that also apply to Ghost Shroud gain frequency. It also now has when hit, lose a Ghost Shroud and regenerate energy shield equal to 2% of your evasion rating per second if you have lost a Ghost Shroud recently. Now gains a Ghost Shroud every 11.7 to 10 seconds at gem levels 4 to 20. So Ghost Dance looks like it got a nerf. Wow. All right. I can't see insights into this. All right, guys.
This isn't the place or the time.
Dark Visitor seeks coins.